Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be reviewing a 4-2-3-1 formation. This one is going to be for an aggressive variation of the 4-2-3-1. So the instructions that this guy has set up for his team is like this, right? So you're going to see his initial team setup is going to be like this. So I'm sorry for the brightness. This guy uses a lot of it. Try not to use too much brightness when you guys record your games. This isn't really ideal, you know? But the reason why this formation is good, or why this team is good, is because he's going to be using his two midfield players here, and then he has his four attackers in Willian, Neymar, Ronaldo, and Hazard. I'm just going to skip past this because it's burning my eyes. This formation right here, this is for the 4-2-2-2. I'm not sure which formation he's going to use in game. He has a 4-2-2-2 and the 4-2-3-1. So his 4-2-3-1 has stay back while attacking for the fullback, stay back while attacking man mark for the CDMs, and stay center. Stay forward for the cam, get into the box for the cross on the left cam and right cam. Not sure if he has it to be on balanced attacking and defending. So let me just see what it actually is here. So he has get into the box for the cross. So he doesn't have stay forward for these ones. And then his tactics, which he skips past very quickly, which he shouldn't because that's like the most important part here. See what happens when he goes to it. Okay. So pressure on heavy touch, his depth is 3, width is on 5, fast build up on 5 width, 3 players in the box. So his build up is slow, but he relies on his players making the runs forward. So this could actually be really good. Pressure on heavy touch is not going to be ideal when the patch comes out. It'll only be ideal if you are losing a game. If you're losing a game, you're gonna have to use pressure on heavy touch or constant pressuring to get the ball back in those really clutch situations. So with this, we're going to go ahead and skip past all this because the brightness is going to burn my eyes soon. Hazard, Aguero, Mbappe, Mkhitaryan, Conte, Pogba. So this guy might stay with the 4-3-3, or he could switch to any variation of formation and it would work out still really well for him, right? He can obviously switch to a 4-1-2-2 with Conte in the CDM position, Pogba on the right or the left. Same thing with Mkhitaryan, left or the right. And then he can choose between, Aguero's probably going to be the striker, but he could choose between Hazard and Mbappe for the cam position or the striker position. So in game, he switches to defensive or attacking. So his attacking instructions is actually going to be for the 4-2-2-2. So that's how he starts off here. So the variation of the formation that this guy's going to be using is going to be wide, right? So stay back while attacking for the fullbacks. Let me see what else he's using here. So he has getting behind on both of his strikers. He has get into the box for the cross on his left cam and his right cam. And then CDMs to stay back while attacking, cover center. Okay, so 4-2-2-2. So this guy needs to focus on using the width as much as possible, as well as building it up in the middle, right? Let's see what we have here. Okay, so let's get some gameplay audio here for you guys, which you guys do have. I'll put this a little bit louder for myself. We're gonna get right over here. So he is gonna be using the 4-2-2-2 at first. He has, again, the formation for it. He's Brazilian. So his pressure on heavy touch so far, the way that his team is set up is very nice. The pressure and the balance between everybody's width against each other is very good. So this is what you have to be going for, right? So you have to be going for this is the width buildup, right? And we're going to be talking about the width and the narrow buildup, because when you use the 4-2-3-1, you have the two CDMs and the cams, and then with the 4-2-2-2, you have the two CDMs with the left cam and the right cam, right? So when you're using a 4-2-2-2, right, you want to be able to exploit the sides, but also create the space in the middle, right? So when you do exploit the sides, always look for this huge blob of space right here in the middle, right? Because when you aggressively attack like this, it's not necessarily ideal. You don't want to force this run because Hazard is being matched up with Jordi. I think this is Jordi Alba. Yeah, so he's being matched up with Jordi Alba here. So not an ideal situation to aggressively attack in that situation. You want to build up to the sides, open up that space for the middle, and then transition to the middle. That's what it's all about in FIFA. You want to transition from the sides to the middle to the sides, right? It's okay to use your fullback in this situation. Just make sure you put him in that situation right there. There you go. So that was good. So he used the fullback to get into position, switch back to a CDM. I got to watch that run that's being made right there. I wouldn't switch to this guy right here. I'd keep it on this guy, screw this guy on the side, and go into the middle right away. So your Alexandro, that's the thing about being a good fullback, having good stats. He will get this card. I've used Alexandro on 7 chemistry, and he's been doing work for me as well because the high work rates. I definitely feel like I don't like high medium this year for the fullbacks, especially since they have this mechanic of always pushing up, right? With the fullbacks this year, it's actually better to have high so that they push back as aggressively as they push forward, right? Yeah, so you shouldn't aggressively make the driven passes here because the defenders will aggressively intercept the ball. So you have the space to run with, use that space, keep using that space, cut inside, go back outside, you know, see what this guy wants to do, because look at the guy he's controlling, right? He's controlling this guy right here. So use that space, right? Use the right stick, push the ball, see where he wants to move his players, because when you're using a 4-2-2, right, in this situation right here, if you keep running, your players will get into the box, but at some point they will push back in the outside area. Not this general area, but they'll be going like this, but then they'll go like this so you can shoot it forward. You know what I mean? Because all of them are going to be running forward because you have a fast build-up, right? Your players are going to be making those runs. This guy does well with the ball roll drag back. Yeah, that was really good. Good angles there. See how you defended here. Yeah, never aggressively push that. You only aggressively push it more if it's more in the middle, but you don't want to aggressively push that specifically in most cases because crossing is very effective in this game, and you never want to give them the space to be able to cross it on the sides. Make sure you push this guy out wide over here because you have the 2 guys over here. Good. You keep using your CDM there. That's important. Very good. You get unlucky with the bounce, though. Yeah, he could have scored that. If he goes for a timed finesse, he could score that. There's potential there for sure. Brazilian commentators are nice, eh? So you see how he has these guys occupy in the middle here? Your objective, right, is to try to get into this space right here. Because you see how, like, this is the thing that I always try to fix in my teams. I always try to fix so that there's not a big gap in this area right here. That's what your tactics is about, right? So you have to find out a way so that this is not a problem. It looks like this guy is actually using the 4-4-2. So what you could do when you notice these things is you could switch to a 4-1-2-1-2 and exploit the middle a lot. But then if you do that, he can exploit your sides, right? So it's like risk and reward type. It's a risk and reward type situation. Never select a kick taker, always put them before the game starts. Also, not ideal to use your fullback because you want to be able to have someone at the back that is fast enough to catch up to the ball when they're attacking. That's overpowered, so you're fine to go for that. Yeah, so don't listen too much about the defending right now because this pressure on heavy touch and the constant pressure, I'm not sure how effective this is going to be when the patch rolls out. Definitely have to play the game to see, but right now it is working out really nicely for him because he loses possession of the ball. Look at how his team is like aggressively attacking him. Every single player is marked, right? Alexandro really good at those aggressive interceptions. So this situation right here, you do a first time pass downwards, right? Because if you do a first time pass downwards, one of these guys will chase after Hazard, giving the space for this guy to make the run over here in the middle. So because you hesitated, he didn't really like... He is on stay back while attacking, but he could still push up into that open space, right? Because of the work rates. Medium doesn't mean never. You know what I mean? But if you do a first time pass down here, and it's a 1-2 play, Sergio Ramos is aggressively pushing towards you, you might be able to exploit the size right here. Because your Neymar would make the run this way, and then your Ronaldo's in the space to make the pass this way, so it would work out really nicely. Because that's what Neymar actually ends up doing, but he's already blocking that run now, right? Don't aggressively make this pass in the middle. People do that mistake a lot. There you go. Don't scoop turn too much. Scoop turns, I used to do scoop turns a lot, but scoop turns are not really effective with this defensive AI right now. It will be effective when defensive AI is not actually making tackles. But in that situation, it's not ideal to do it because the AI stays in the middle of you, so it's very easy to get the ball. Your spacing between your players is really nice, but Manolas is now out of position, so you're basically playing with a one center back in the back, one center back in the front, and that's not necessarily ideal if he ends up making this run over here into the middle. So if this guy's instruction had get inside, cut inside, and get in behind, he would score this opportunity right here. Because it does look like he's using a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2. It could be one or the other. If his players are unbalanced, he would still exploit that space too. But he might have some sort of like tactic. So this guy went right here. You aggressively going for the slide tackle. I get why you're risking it because you want to block the passing space if he ends up going for the driven pass. But I don't think it would be worth it, man. Because you could actually end up tackling him there. You're doing okay with this formation. You just have to transition better between the sides and the middle. Especially since you have a good team. Like, you have, like, Neymar and Ronaldo, right? Like, those two are so different to a lot of players in this game. Like, Neymar especially, man. Like, Neymar, you'll be able to exploit the space more easily with Neymar because he's so quick on the ball that you can open up the space better with a player like him. Like, Willian is a nuisance to your team compared to the players you have right now. So what you want to do here, is you don't necessarily want to cross this, right? Because if you cross this ball in this situation, it's not a good enough angle, nor are you in this general area right here to hit it consistently. Like, your player's not really in the best of positions inside the box yet. But if you were to do this, right, you make this pass right here, which is brilliant. If you do a fake shot stop right here, because this is what happens when you use the 4-2-2. Your striker is making that run because he's on getting behind, right? So you give this ball to Willian. Neymar makes that run in behind, which is your instruction. And then once you do that, Willian is now going to occupy that middle space that Neymar is now using Willian's space for, right? So once you get into that position right there, you want to do a fake shot stop and then do a nice little Y pass layoff to Willian and then exploit the middle. You know what I mean? Because look, Willian would be like alone in this little space right here. Like, he has this guy on him, but then he can go backwards and then maybe go for a left-footed finesse or something. You know what I mean? Your team is spread out really nicely. I like the way your team's spread out. Yeah, that was a big mistake. Huge mistake. So the unfortunate thing about this situation right here is that once you make the Y pass, you should be able to, you know, get inside and then hit a nice little shot with Hazard's left foot driven shot across goal. But those aren't very consistent nowadays, and the defensive AI does catch up really nicely. Like, Sergio Ramos would definitely probably get this ball here. So if you were to aggressively push this forward and go for the left foot driven shot, that would make sense and should be a goal if you get into a really good position inside the box, because Sergio Ramos might catch up to him. But what you actually should have been doing here is, once you got into that angle facing forward of the net, you have to go for the time finesse here, because it's not worth it's not worth going for the driven shot because it's not consistent, right? But if you go here and you do the skill move where you flick your right stick backwards upwards, you can do the skill move where it's kind of like a McGee spin, but you go upwards and then you go for that 90-degree, right, finesse shot into the top right corner and try to score it that way. Using your CDMs is still going to be effective in the new patch, but it's only to get them in position. In terms of making actual tackles, it's not going to be ideal. This guy's mistake that he does here is his touch was not a good touch. Over here, I would probably risk the driven shot. So once he got into this position right here, he has to aggressively push the ball this way and then try to go for a driven shot across goal. Or just a regular shot. I think a regular shot might have worked too. Pogba's shooting in general is pretty decent for a CDM. Well, someone that's probably being used as one of the two center mids. Why pass downwards? Ooh, you gotta watch these. So these extra runs that they make, right? So you see how you keep aggressively pushing out your Alexandro? Don't do that, man, because they exploit the sides really easily, especially if they're using a wide formation. And you can tell this guy's using either like a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-2, because that's the side that he exploits. So once you're using Alexandro here, you aggressively push him out, right? But it's always the pass they make to the middle and then pass it to the sides that is really effective, right? So right there, it's always these passes right here that are the most effective. He makes that extra run right there. What he should do in this situation is a little tap Y pass in this general area, and this guy has all that space to exploit. Oh, you got really lucky there. If you're so this is a thing in the patch notes. This is a thing that a lot of people noticed in the gameplay in general that they fixed apparently. Is that when your player is, I guess, attacking, he actually loses pace and then gains the pace, right? And you can tell that Ronaldo does that right here. So you see how he kind of loses that pace in that moment right there. So he loses it right there, and then he runs. That's not because of acceleration or sprint speed. That's actually like a glitch that they fixed. Yeah, you gotta exploit the middle now. See what you got here. I kind of like that fake shot in that situation, because what you can honestly do is you could try to get the angle for the finesse shot here. Maybe go for a heel to heel or like a roulette and then acceleration push. Once you get to this position right here, don't shoot the ball right away. It's not ideal, right? So over here, you have to do some sort of skill move. Like you might actually be able to get a scoop turn on Van Dijk to this side right here, especially with Neymar, because Neymar is like this with the scoop turns, right? But you never want to shoot. Listen, is it possible to shoot when your back is facing the goal? Yes, it is, but it's not ideal to shoot in that situation right there. Exploit that side. Got to use it right away, man. That's Ronaldo being a god. that's the pay to win right there, man. See, this is the thing that people need to see, right? This is the physical presence that I talk about when I make these videos, right? And when I stream and I talk about like, oh my god, I hate, because there's no strikers that can do what Ronaldo does here, okay? In terms of like using like Timo Werner, Aubameyang, nobody does what Ronaldo does right here, right? First of all, this Y pass does not deserve a goal, right? Because your angles are awful, right? But Ronaldo is going to beat Ramos to that, right? Because he's Ronaldo. And then he gets very lucky with the deflection there. Let's see how you shot this opportunity. You know what? Like a first time shot, I really hope EA does something about the driven shots, because in this angle right here, you really should be able to hit it, especially with Ronaldo. You get right there, even a first time driven shot to the left, I wouldn't even mind that. You know what I mean? It's definitely a convenience that you scored that, though. It's because of Ronaldo being a god. No, you took too long, man. Don't do that, man. Like, you have all that space to work with. You gotta attack it right away. You're waiting too much, man. Look at these two players here. First of all, with the wide pass to the side, huge mistake, man. You got to use that middle, man. Look at he's already tracking that player. Look at this. When you get to this position right here, he's tracking him, dude. Use that middle. You know what I mean? And then you wait. You know, like you can't do this waiting thing, man. You can get the ball off you easily, and then there's nothing to work with. But I think that's pretty much it for the first half. That's how you should attack and defend in terms of going through the middle and going through the sides. You have to transition between the two, right? You have to notice where the area of space is. Sometimes it's always good that when you're playing FIFA, what you should do is you should just pass the ball around for 5 minutes, right? In game, or even 2 minutes in game, or 3 minutes in game, just to see how their team sets up and how the person defends, right? That's how you should play, because when you do that, you're analyzing the way your opponent plays, and then you counter the way that he plays, right? If you notice that he's using a 4-4-2, and he only has those two center mid players in the middle, you can still use a 4-2-3-1, but just make sure that they're all very central, right? So that if you get that pass with your left cam or your right cam while they're cutting inside, you can do easy finesse shots like that because they're cutting inside against the middle, right? That the opponent is not occupying properly because he's using a 4-4-2. So sometimes just analyze your opponent, right? That's the most important thing. That's the motto of this video. How to analyze your opponent. Slow down, pass the ball around, see who he's defending with, and see how his formation is set up. Sometimes it's risk and reward. You'll use a 4-1-2-2, and he'll just exploit you on the sides on the attack, right? So it's just risk and reward. You have to figure out what formation works best. That's why the teams in the beginning that you have is very important. So you can see that this guy's team right here is a good team because he can rotate to whatever he wants, right? He can use Dembele as one of the center mids as well as Alan, and then use like Willian as one of the center mids with high. It's not an ideal midfield, but it is possible to switch to the 4-1-2-2, right? Neymar, Ronaldo as the strikers, Hazard as the cam. Boom, you can exploit that side a lot, right? So I need to take this off because my eyes are burning. That's what I would say. Those things are very important in my opinion. But that is going to conclude the video for today, guys. This is how you want to analyze your opponent. In terms of playing while attacking and defending. It's the most important thing to do in FIFA, man. Like sometimes your opponent's not just better than you, they just have the tactics that work better against you, right? So just realize what works best for you during the situation, and you'll be more successful in your game. So hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you guys enjoyed it, please drop a thumbs up on it. Definitely helps the channel a lot, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.